Today, I'm very pleased to welcome back my friend David Ebersole, who has written a brand new book, your very first book.
Indeed.
A novel.
Yes.
All right, well, we have to talk about this because you come from the world of film, and that's kind of the world you've lived in. What made you decide to go back? I know you studied, you were...
Literature at UCLA,
so this is going back to your roots a little bit.
And it's always kind of been the dream. Like the top dream for me has been to have a book on a bookshelf in a bookstore. You're going down E, A, B. Oh, I'll take, I'll pull that one out. And so to me, like this, I made a lot of movies and I've had a lot of fun doing it, but this was always the dream. Will I ever take the time, sit down and write a book? And this thing called the pandemic came along, so I had a little time.
99 miles from LA, and folks will find some familiar scenes. You write a good bit of this. It takes place in the desert.
It does. They do their heist in Los Angeles. It's a crime story. And they do their heist in Los Angeles and then come and hide out in the desert.
Fun. And it's a classic kind of caper tale, written in kind of a film noir sense to it, correct?
Yeah, the book is called 99 Miles from LA, which is based on an Albert Hammond song made famous by Johnny Mathis. And it's got this kind of wistful, hopeful idea about it, but you also kind of feel like, in a way, that things won't work out. It's not gonna turn out well.
It's not gonna end well.
And I'm always been kind of obsessed with noir, and I thought there was a nice dovetail there about the way that when you don't believe in the American dream really being a possibility for yourself anymore, noir becomes very popular in the culture because people start to say, well, what happens if I can't get ahead in the normal way, on the good side of the law? Well, maybe I'll do something wrong. Maybe I'll go over to that dark side. And so that sort of idea that both the American dream might be sort of not coming together and these people are trying to figure out how to come together and they're all a little afraid it's all not going to work out.
And the other thing you told me about this, and I found this really fascinating, you said that there is very little dialogue, zero dialogue in the beginning. You didn't want to write a screenplay. You said you didn't want it to feel like that.
Because I'm a filmmaker, so everybody, the first question is like, well, is it going to be made into a movie? And I keep saying, my dream is that it gets made into a terrible movie, so that everybody walks out and says, I really like the book much better.
The book was much better. The book was much better.
Exactly. So yeah, there's no quotation marks until, I don't know, chapter 25.
Wow.
Nobody actually says anything directly to each other because I thought it was a formal way, being an English major and coming from that world where I read all these things that had these formal approaches. I thought, let me do something formal in the way I'm approaching the writing.
I find that fascinating because I think writing a novel is hard in and of itself, and then to kind of impose these restrictions on yourself. Did that make it tougher, or was it more fun for you because you had kind of a challenge that you created for yourself?
I write in rhythm. So when I sit down to write, I actually even have to return to the beginning to get myself back up to the last place that I was to keep the story going, because I get that rhythm going. And so for me, it was a rhythm issue. Once I was doing it, and once that was the way the paragraphs were being made, the characters they're talking to each other inside of the paragraphs, but it's all what people are thinking.
Fascinating. I'm looking forward to reading it. 99 Miles from LA, the debut novel from P. David Ebersole. And you can find this anywhere books are sold, correct?
Yeah, and we're doing a big reading at Barnes & Noble in the desert on May 13th, Lucky Friday the 13th.
Okay, Friday the 13th at 1 o'clock, Barnes & Noble at the former Westfield Mall, the shops in Palm Desert, they now call them.
Yeah.
So stop by at 1 o'clock. Meet David, get an autographed copy of the novel. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It just is always fascinating to have you on the program because you're always doing interesting stuff.
Thank you so much.
This continues that line of great, interesting things you're involved with.
All right. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely.